to Donald Trump, to the developments that will take place at Davos. All eyes are on Trump's address at Davos, and the latest that picking up is that Donald Trump is en route to Davos. Those are live visuals coming in. He has landed in Zurich. His plane has touched down near Zurich, and from here Donald Trump would be on his way to Davos, where he is going to address the World Economic Forum. All eyes are going to be on what the US president has to say. Before traveling via helicopter to Davos, where he will address the World Economic Forum, Donald Trump's plane has touched down near Zurich. Those are live visuals coming in on the broadcast, but the focus now shifts to Donald Trump's address. Why does the timing matter? Here's a breakdown of that. There is a big rift with Europe over Greenland. Remember the threats that Donald Trump has issued, not just on Greenland, but also the tariffs. This has definitely strained relations between US and Europe, and of course has increased the concerns after tariff threats have been issued to ally nations. Let's go across to Rishabh, who continues to be with us on the broadcast. There are live visuals coming in. Donald Trump's plane has touched down near Zurich, and after this he will be headed to Davos, and all eyes would shift on what he has to say during the address. Remember, before leaving, Donald Trump said, I don't know what's going to happen, but he then said there will be good news for everyone. But this comes amid the threats that he's already issued.
Well, Swati, definitely. Donald Trump has touched down in Switzerland near Zurich. He's taking a helicopter to Davos now. While all eyes are on Davos and what Donald Trump says, he is going there at the time when his own alliance partners, the allies in NATO, are up against him. We have heard it from France, we have heard it from Germany, we have heard it from Canada, we have heard it from Denmark itself. And now when he goes there, it would be interesting to see what Donald Trump says. As of now, many suggest that he'll continue the rhetoric that we have heard from him. But in Europe, talking about Europe, it would be interesting to see what US president says.
Rishabh, let's also talk about the responses that have already come in. French President Emmanuel Macron said that we are going to stand up to bullies. And the European Union said it will deliver an unflinching reply. Then we also heard the European Commission president say that Trump could push relations into a downward spiral.
Well, surely. See, we have heard it from France that we'll stand up to the bully. Europe says, the European Union for that matter, says that the global world order is getting destroyed and we'll work on re-establishment of it. Mark Carney from Canada has said that, the way things are, the Middle West, which he calls himself, should be the middle partner, should be ensuring that we rise up to the opportunity to, restore the world order. All these things have been heard. But has Donald Trump heard it? That is a major question. What his response would be is very interesting. The moment Macron said that we should stand to the bully, the response was we'll put 200% tariff on him and he will come on board. So tariff has been weaponized. Greenland has been, in a way, at least on social media, annexed by United States. Now he wants physically the social media, the whole Greenland to him. And now when Donald Trump speaks in Davos, more than economy, it would be, the way things are and how things, go ahead from here on. Whether there will be a NATO meeting and Donald Trump would be able to convince and calm down the allies, or whether he'll further irritate them.
Well, it's not just about not just about Greenland, isn't it, Rishabh? It's also about the tariffs, the tariff threat that he issued. We're given to understand there are already talks about retaliatory tariffs. UK Chancellor said that they're not ruling out anything. French President Emmanuel Macron also said that European Union could consider a series of retaliatory options. All right, live visuals coming in. First visuals of Donald Trump landing near Zurich. From here, the President of the United States will go to Davos via helicopter, where he will first be meeting business leaders before his address at the World Economic Forum. U.S. President is supposed to attend a reception today with business leaders before making a speech at the World Economic Forum later. Before this trip, Donald Trump has already issued threats as far as Greenland is concerned and tariff threats as well. Let's listen in. All right, so there you have Donald Trump making his way towards the helicopter that will take him to Davos, where he will first be meeting business leaders, and thereafter is his address to the World Economic Forum. All eyes are going to be on U.S. President Donald Trump. The European leaders especially would want to hear what Trump has to now say after issuing threats over Greenland. Trump argues that Greenland, which is mineral rich, is important for U.S. and NATO security against Russia and China. Now, the responses coming in from European leaders is that they won't bow down before bullies. European Commission President Ursula has said that Trump could push relations between US and European Union into a downward spiral. European Union leaders are saying that they would deliver an unflinching response to Donald Trump. So this definitely, the statements made by Donald Trump on Greenland and the tariffs has strained relations between US and its allies. There are talks of retaliatory tariffs as well. European Union leaders ready to respond with retaliatory tariffs. Let's go back to Rishabh, who continues to be with us. We saw Donald Trump making his way towards the helicopter that will take the US president to Davos.
Well, definitely. See, Donald Trump has reached Switzerland. He has landed near Zurich. Now he is moving toward the helicopter, and he would be taking the helicopter to Davos. Now, in Davos, he would be meeting his, administration members as well. Like as in Davos, we have seen Scott Bessent as well in Davos. Ahead of his speech, he would be taking a lowdown from what exactly has happened all this while in last 2 days in Davos. We have heard Ursula von der Leyen, we have heard Macron, we have heard Mark Carney, we have heard from Russia and Turkey as well. Now it is the time for Donald Trump to answer. Right now, the center of discussion in Davos has been United States, its foreign policies, and how in European matters, US is interfering. Greenland becomes the main focal point, be it France, be it European Union, be it Canada or other members as well. Yesterday, we heard one Danish European Parliament member even using an appropriate word for Donald Trump.
Absolutely. Strong reactions coming in from the European leaders. Let me also go across to Srinjoy Chaudhary. Now, this address of Donald Trump at the World Economic Forum comes at a time when he has threatened to impose tariffs on 8 European nations if they oppose US takeover of Greenland.
And not only that, 200% tariff on French wines and champagne, and specifically aimed at President Emmanuel Macron because of what President Macron had said about bullying by America. Now, this is a very crucial moment in history because after all these years, 75 years or so of NATO, it comes to a stage when Europe and America are face to face, eyeball to eyeball, and friends for 75 years. The Western alliance is at breaking point. But whether this will be a breaking point or not will depend on the next 48 hours. How will Trump see this entire situation? How will the Europeans react to this? So this is something that has to be looked at very carefully. And both sides probably know that any false move at this point will mean a fracture of this alliance that has stood strongly together for 75 years. And it will also be a message. The Greenland issue could also be a message, the Europeans at least think, to Xi Jinping vis-a-vis Taiwan and Vladimir Putin vis-a-vis not just Ukraine.
Right. Srinjoy, I also want to go across to Hina. She's joining us from the newspit. Donald Trump is an unpredictable man. What he's done in the recent past can be described as unprecedented. You know, NATO chief says this is time for thoughtful diplomacy, something that Donald Trump certainly does not believe in practice.
Well, absolutely. And the timing is extremely critical because he has ruffled feathers with the European allies. And it's going to be the first occasion when the same European allies who have called out, Trump's obsession with Greenland being unfair, he's going to be face to face with those leaders in Davos during the World Economic Forum. He has already landed there. And now the next big thing that we are going to be watching out for will be his big address. What is it that he will like to say to the world leaders, to the policy makers and the who's who from the world of business that have all gathered for World Economic Forum in Davos for this year's conference? His message is going to be extremely important. Of course, his desire to take over Greenland has made many people quite upset here, and that seems to be dominating the discussions as well during the panel discussions at Davos. And after that, the much awaited thing, Swati, is going to be the reception that's going to be hosted in honor of President Donald Trump. Now, what's interesting is that from the world, around 140 plus CEOs are going to be part of this reception for Donald Trump, and these 140 plus CEOs are also going to include 7 Indian CEOs. Now that makes the India story very, very important as far as US president is concerned. It also tells us that how whatever Trump may say, even if Trump wants to impose a lot of tariffs on us, he cannot ignore Indians and the Indian CEOs and Indian businesses, the dividend, the demographic dividend and the opportunities that India brings, on the table. That's something that America can't really ignore. And that can be gauged from the fact that, for this very important reception, there are 7 Indian CEOs who are also going to be joining and
that
meeting
meeting
Trump.
with the business leaders that includes Indian CEOs is also going to be the top focus. Apart from that, Greenland. The threats that have been issued of a takeover of Greenland by Donald Trump is the top agenda. He has landed near Zurich. He is on his way to Davos now, and all eyes are going to be on what the US president is going to say in his address. Thank you very much, Hina, Rishabh and Srinjoy, for getting us the details. A very quick break with that on the broadcast.